Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're trying something a bit different. We're taking these really ancient stories, Bible stories specifically, and sort of imagining what if they had social media, like Twitter.
Yeah, it's a fascinating exercise, isn't it? Putting these huge foundational narratives into, well, our very modern, very online world.
Exactly. And the idea is to see if looking at them through this, 21st century filter gives us some fresh takes, maybe some surprising thoughts.
So where should we start boiling down the big plot points, Maeve?
Okay, yeah, like Elijah's showdown, Ahab, the prophets of Baal, Mount Carmel. How does he tweet that? It's got to be short, punchy.
Right. Maybe something like, their guy's silent, mine brought the fire. Just saying. Yeah, hashtag Yowie wins, hashtag Balhu.
Yeah, something like that. The hashtags are key, right? Hashtag mic drop. It captures that dramatic finality.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Or think about Judas, leading up to the betrayal. What might he post? Maybe something cryptic?
Oh, that's heavy. Like, ah, got a lot on my mind. Trying to do the right thing even when it's hard. I, knowing what comes next just changes how you'd read that entirely.
It really does. It shows how,
Yeah.
like, social media gives you these little windows, but never the full story. So much room for interpretation or misinterpretation.
Okay, what about Noah? Building the ark. Forget long pronouncements. He's got to get the word out fast.
He'd definitely be using Twitter, maybe a thread, starting with, okay, people, listen up. Big rain coming, huge GE, building a boat, details below. Hashtag flood warning, hashtag ark life.
Imagine the comments on that. Skeptics, jokes, maybe some genuine fear.
Oh, yeah. And the thread could have, like, construction updates, calls for help, maybe warnings. The core message warning, call to action, it works. Just the delivery is, well, instant.
Which brings us to, the spicy side of things, the arguments, the clapbacks.
Right. Think Goliath yelling at the Israelites. That's basically prime tweet material.
And David could quote tweet him, couldn't he? Something like, big words from down there, wait till you see this slingshot. Hashtag underdog, hashtag giant problems.
Exactly. Or Moses and Pharaoh, every time Pharaoh says no. Another plague tweet from Moses, maybe with increasingly angry emojis.
Oh, the potential for court tweet wars there is just
Yeah.
massive. Okay, let's dig into those threads more. Noah's Ark thread.
Right, so tweet 1 is the warning. Tweet 2, day 10 of construction, lumber's here, it's a lot of wood, hashtag ark build. Tweet 3, need more gopher wood. Anyone, DM me.
Huh. And maybe pics. Just got the giraffes on board. Such graceful creatures. Hashtag 2B2, hashtag animal rescue. It makes it feel so immediate, so real time.
In Moses, a thread detailing the Exodus, that would be epic.
Totally. Tweet after tweet. Okay, frogs now. Seriously, everywhere. Okay, I'd let my people go. Hashtag plague update. Building the tension.
Then the Red Sea crossing is the climax. Maybe a shaky video, then a triumphant. We made it. She's closed behind us. Hashtag Exodus, hashtag freedom, hashtag Sea of Pharaoh. It could capture the whole devotional journey.
Okay, prediction time. Thinking about today's online climate. Most likely to be canceled. Who gets into hot water?
Oof. Well, based on modern standards. King Herod. That order about the infants in Bethlehem. Instant cancellation. No question.
Yeah, that's a clear one. What about Samson? His whole storyline is pretty violent. Revenge, destruction.
That would definitely spark debate. Lots of calls for accountability, maybe explaining the context wouldn't even help much in the initial storm. It's complex.
And what about some of the prophets? Delivering really harsh judgments, condemning whole cities or behaviors.
That's a really tricky one, pulled out of context. Some of those pronouncements could easily sound, well, hateful or intolerant by today's standards. They'd likely be flagged, debated endlessly.
It really shows how much context matters and how easily that gets lost online, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Nuance is often the first casualty in a Twitter war.
So, pulling it all together, what's the takeaway from this thought experiment?
I think it highlights how, even filtered through something as modern as social media, the core human stuff in these stories really stands out. Conflict, belief, doubt, leadership, how people react under pressure.
Yeah, the technology changes, but maybe people don't, fundamentally. Imagining Elijah tweeting or Moses threading just gives us a different angle on these timeless themes.
Precisely. It makes them feel immediate, maybe even more relatable in some ways, while also showing how differently those messages might land today.
Okay, so here's something to leave you thinking about. If they really had social media back then, how would we remember these figures? Would the instant, constant stream of information change their legacies? What parts of their stories might get amplified? And what might get drowned out in all the noise? Definitely something to chew on after this deep dive.